Hello students, today we continue our lesson number 1 gravitation. Last time we learned some points from this lesson. Next point, today we will continue Earth's gravitational acceleration. Here question is asked, define acceleration due to gravity and its derivation. So see in the first paragraph, the earth exerts gravitational force on objects near it. According to Newton's second law of motion, a force is acting. A force is acting on a body result in its acceleration. Now this basic concept already we learned in previous standard. Thus, the gravitational force due to the earth on a body results in its acceleration. This is called acceleration due to gravity. So already definition is given here and it is denoted by G. All are getting? So you mark the answer from here. It's called acceleration due to gravity. It is denoted by small letter G. Acceleration is a vector quantity. As the gravitational force on any object due to the earth is directed towards the center of the earth, the direction of the acceleration due to gravity is also directed towards the center of the earth, that is vertically downward. Now, first of all, we see the derivation of acceleration due to gravity. So this question is asked for 2 to 3 marks. So first of all, I will show the answer of this question on one paper. See here. Question is asked like this way. Define acceleration due to gravity. So answer we already learned here. And second question, derive an expression for acceleration due to gravity on the Earth's surface. This question is asked for 2 to 3 marks. Now expression for acceleration due to gravity. Suppose small m means mass of an object is situated at r. R means what? A distance from the center of the earth. And capital M means nothing but the mass of the earth. Therefore, the gravitational force of attraction F between the object and the earth is given by F is equal to capital G into M into small m upon r square, equation number 1, where capital G means called as constant of gravitation, universal gravitational constant. Last time we learned this point. But we know that force equation F is equal to mg, mass of an object, multiplied by G means acceleration due to gravity, equation number 2. From equation 1 and 2, so this value of force mg that we substitute here. So we are getting the answer here. So mg is equal to, right side remains as it is, that is a g mm upon r square. On both the sides small m is there, that is the cancel. And what is the remain? Therefore g is equal to capital Gm upon r square, equation number 3. If the object is situated on the surface of the earth, therefore small r means nothing but what? A radius of the earth. Capital R means radius of the earth, and that's why we are getting the formula acceleration due to gravity is equal to capital G, that is a universal gravitational constant. Capital M means mass of the earth, and capital R square means radius of the earth square. So we are getting the formula of acceleration due to gravity. If we substitute the all values, so we see their calculation. After substituting all these values, this is a value of capital G. Next value is mass of the earth, and at denominator radius of the earth. After calculation, we are getting the value 9.77 meter per second square. Approximate that value is 9 for calculation, 9.8 meter per second square. Therefore, from the above relation, acceleration due to gravity on the Earth's surface depends upon mass of the earth, that is a capital M, and radius of the earth, that is a R. So remember in this way. So in this way we are writing the answer of the given question. What is the acceleration due to gravity and derive its expression. Next one. Here two questions are given for us. Think about it. First question is, what would happen if there were no gravity? And second, what would happen if the value of capital G was twice, that is a double as large? So we think about these two questions and see what is the answer of these two questions. I will show these two answers again on one paper. First one, what would happen if there were no gravity? Answer, if a gravitational force cease means stop to exist on earth, then that is happen here. First one, all the objects will no longer be drawn towards each other, and the earth's objects not being attracted to the earth along with humans would float off into space away from the surface of the earth. The objects are not remains as it is on the surface of the earth like a dust particle or a balloon, that all objects are flying in the space. Second point, the important constituents of the earth, including the atmosphere and the water from the ocean, seas, etc., would also float into space in absence of the gravity. And third point, the moon would stop orbiting the earth, means moon is not revolving around the earth and would drift in space, that is a moon is also going in a straight line into the space. If this gravity is absent, there were no gravity on the earth. Second question given for us, what would happen if the value of capital G was twice as large? If the value of capital G, that is a universal gravitational constant, were to be doubled, twice means what? Double. Then what happened? First point, weight of all the object on the earth will become double. Weight of all the object double, making simple tasks like picking an object difficult. Human body weight will become twice, or that is double the original. Our body will be strained to support the increase in weight. The third point, the atmospheric air pressure would increase, leading to various climatic changes. To counter this change in air presence, the blood pressure of the human body will increase, making it hard to survive on the earth. We are unable to survive if that capital value of G is double. Various structures like houses, bridges, dams, etc. would collapse due to increase in weight. And fifth one, the Earth's orbit around the Sun will be affected, which will result in atmospheric climatic changes. All these things happen when if the value of the capital G, means universal gravitational constant, was twice, or that is a double. So we revise this to answer. Okay, we are going back to our main page. So all are getting. Next point. Here, can you tell? One question giving for us. So you try to find out the answer. What would be the value of small g, that acceleration due to gravity, on the surface of the earth if mass was twice, means mass is double, and radius is half of it now, and radius is half? Then what happened on the value of small g? So with the help of above equation, you try to find out the answer. I will give the answer in assignment or in my solution. Next question. Next point. Variation in value of G. Here also question asked for 3 marks. What are the factors affect on the value of G? Small g means what? Acceleration due to gravity. First one. Change along the surface of the earth. In short, we write as a change of shape of earth. Will the value of small g be the same everywhere on the surface of the earth? Answer is no. Why? Because we know that the shape of the earth is not exactly spherical. See there. The shape of the earth is not exactly spherical, and so the distance of a point of the surface of the earth from its center differ somewhat from place to place. Due to its rotation, the earth bulges at equator and is flatter at the poles. Therefore, its radius is largest at equator and smaller at pole. The value of small g is highest, that is the 9.832 meter per second square at the pole, and decreases slowly with decreasing latitude, and it is lowest, that is a 9.78 meter per second square at the equator. So this value of small g affect due to change of the shape of earth. Second point, change with height. As we go above the earth's surface, the value of r means radius in that above equation increases, radius increases, and the value of g decreases. Why? Because check there, both these values are inversely proportional. It is at numerator, it is at denominator. So radius increases, value of g decreases. That is happen here. Question given, some more explanation given for us. However, the decrease in a rather small for height, which are small in comparison to the earth's radius. So you write this point in your answer. Remaining explanation you only read and remember. For example, remember that radius of the earth, we know that 6,400 kilometer. If an aeroplane is flying at 10 kilometer above the earth's surface, its distance from the earth's surface changes from 6,400 to 6,410 kilometer. The change in the value of small g due to it is negligible. 10 kilometer as comparison to radius of earth is very less. On the other hand, when we consider an artificial satellite orbiting the earth, we have to take into account the change in the value of small g due to large change in the distance of the satellite from the earth, satellite from the center of the earth. Some typical height and values of small g at these heights are given in the table on next page. See these values. Heights are given. First one, surface of the earth, that is average value, height is 0, that is considered 9.8 meter per second square. Mount Everest from the earth's surface, 8.8 kilometer is the height, the value is the same, 9.8. Maximum height reached by man-made balloon, that is 36.6 kilometer, value is decreasing, 9.77 meter per second square. Next one, height of a typical weather satellite, that is 400 kilometer from the earth's surface, value of g decreases, and height of communication satellite from the earth's surface is 35,700 kilometer, value of small g is very less, 0.225 meter per second square. So what we learn? If height is increases from the earth's surface, value of g decreases. Third factor affect on the value of g, that is a change with the depth. See, the explanation is given here. The value of small g also changes if we go inside the earth. The value of small r in equation number 5 on previous page decreases, and one would think that the value of small g should be increased as per the formula, because that is inversely proportional. G and R inversely proportional to each other like this. So radius decreases, value of G increases. That is a simple concept, inverse variation, like a mathematics we learn. However, the part of the earth which contribute towards the gravitational force felt by the object also decreases, which means that value of capital M to be used in equation number 5 decreases. As a combined result of a change in the value of R and M, value of G decreases as we go deep inside the earth. Last sentence you underline. A change in value of R and M, the value of small g, that is acceleration due to gravity, decreases as we go deep inside the earth. So in this way, this is a 3-mark question asked on this topic. Next one. Now think about it. 2 questions given for us. Will the direction of the gravitational force change as we go inside the earth? And second question, what will be the value of a small g at the center of the earth? So I will show the answer of both the question on one paper again. Now see that. Check here. Now first answer, will the direction of the gravitational force changes as we go inside the earth? There will be no change. What is the answer? There will be no change in the direction of the gravitational force. Gravitational force always act downwards, that is towards the center of the earth. And second question given, think about it. What will be the value of small g at the center of the earth? Or the same question asked in the form of give reason, explain why, or only that is asked like this. The value of small g is 0. Give reason question asked in the exam. The value of small g is 0 at the center of the earth. Right scientific reason. This is a 2-mark question asked in the exam. So you try to find out the answer of this second question. I will give the answer in my assignment solution. All are getting? Answer is already given here, but first of all you try to find out the answer. Next point we learn, that is mass and weight. Here 2-mark question asks, that is distinguish between mass and weight. Now points are given in the paragraph, so you write in the form of columns. Now check that. First is a mass, second one is a weight. So write in the form of columns. Okay? Mass is the amount of matter present in the object. This is the first point. So what is the first point in weight? So write the definition. Here, that is the definition of mass. Now definition of weight is given here, that is defined. Start from here. The force with which the earth attracts the object is called weight. This is the first point. Second point, SI unit of mass is a kilogram. So what do we write here? SI unit of weight is Newton. This is the second point. Next, third point. Mass is a scalar quantity and weight is a vector quantity. That is the third point. Its value is same everywhere, but its value it changes from place to place. Weight of the object changes from place to place. That is the next point. Next one. Its value does not change even when we go to another planet. According to Newton's first law, it is the measure of the inertia of an object, underline the last sentence, higher the mass, higher is the inertia, that we learn in standard 9 in Newton's first law. Also, yeah, weight means nothing but the force and nothing but the product of mass and acceleration due to gravity. We know the formula of small g, that is gm upon r square. So weight being a force, and force is a vector quantity, and it's a direction towards the center of the earth. As the value of small g is not the same everywhere, weight of an object changes from place to place, though its mass is constant everywhere. So write the answer of this point in the form of distinguish mass and weight. That is homework question. Now remember this. Colloquially, we use weight for both mass and weight and measure the weight in a kilogram. Measure the weight in a kilogram, which is the unit of mass. We measure the weight and mass in kilogram, but kilogram is actually the unit of mass. But in scientific language, when we say that Rajiv's weight is 75 kilogram, we are talking about Rajiv's mass, not his weight. What we mean is that Rajiv's weight is equal to the gravitational force on 75 kilogram mass. As the Rajiv mass is 75 kilogram, his weight on the earth is equal to, by using the formula F equal to mg. So mass is 75 kilogram and value of g is 9.8. So weight is actually, Rajiv's weight is actually 735 Newton. So weight is measured in Newton, but in our day-to-day life, we express or we measure mass and weight, both the quantity, in kilogram. But scientifically that is wrong. The weight of 1 kilogram mass is 1 into 9.8, that is 9.8 Newton. 1 kilogram mass, when we express in weight, then that is a 9.8 Newton. Remember this relation. On weighing machine tells us mass. Weighing machine tells us mass, not weight. Remember, the two scale balances in a shop compare two weights, that is the two masses. That is the extra information given for us. Next one. Now use your brain power. Two questions given for us. Now see that. First question is, will your weight remains constant as you go above the surface of the earth? And second one, suppose you are standing on a tall ladder. If your distance from the center of the earth is 2 r, what will be your weight? So first of all, we revise these two answers on one paper. Now see here. First question is given here on page number 10. We are going back here. Answer. What is the question? Will your weight remains constant as you go above the surface of the earth? Answer is no. Our weight is not remains constant if we move away from the surface of the earth. Second point, weight means what? The product of mass and acceleration, that is a gravitational acceleration. When we move away from the surface of the earth, mass remains same, but what happened? But the value of gravitational acceleration decreases. We learn in previous point, height of the object increases from the earth's surface, value of g decreases. That point we write in the form of answer. And last point, thus weight decreases as we move away from the surface of the earth. That is the answer of that first question. Next. Second question given in Use Your Brain Power on page number 10. Suppose you are standing on a tall ladder. If your distance from the center of the earth is a 2r, that is double the radius of the earth, what will be your weight? So any change in our body weight given. So this is a numerical problem. So how to write numerical problem? Given, then to find, formula and solution. So what is given? Height means nothing but we consider as a radius. That is the distance from the center of the earth is 2r. What we find out here? We find out the weight, that is W equal to question mark. We know the formula. On earth surface, W means weight equal to nothing but the product of mass and acceleration due to gravity. So mass remains same. What is the formula of small g? That is a gm, capital Gm upon r square. So we are getting the formula of a weight here. Weight means nothing but this formula. And second one, at a height h above a surface, W dash, one more formula, gmm upon radius is slightly increases at denominator radius plus height whole bracket square. Now see the solution. On earth surface, W is equal to gmm upon r square. At a distance of 2r from the center of the earth, W dash is equal to gmm upon r plus h means nothing but what? We substitute the value of h here, r, so r plus r bracket square. So gmm upon 2r square. So we are making the square. So 2 square is a 4 and r square is r square. Equation number 2. Dividing equation 2 by 1, we get. So W dash, therefore W dash is equal, W dash upon W is equal to, divide like this. Instead of division, we multiply. So interchanging these numerator and denominator. So r square cancel here, gmm cancel, only 1 upon 4 is remain. On the left hand side, check that W dash is equal to 1 upon 4 multiplied by W. W means weight on the earth. So we write the answer in the proper sentence. Therefore, check, the person's weight at a distance of 2r from the center of the earth would reduces, 1/4 means reduces to 1/4 the weight on the surface of the earth. In this way we are calculate the answer. So answer of that two question given on page number 10, use your brain power, we are writing in this form. Next question given on page number 10, that is a solved example. How to write the solved example? See that this is solved example on page number 10. Question is already given in textbook and I am writing also here. So how to write now? See that weight, first of all write down the given weight on the earth, that is mentioned as a WE equal to 750 Newton. Then ratio of mass of earth, that is ME, to mass of the moon, mm. So ME upon mm equal to 81. Same way one more ratio is given, ratio of radius of earth RE to radius of moon. So RE upon RM equal to 3.7. What we find out here? Weight of a person on the moon, that is the WM equal to question mark. We know the formula. Force equal to means force means nothing but the weight is equal to mg. Therefore W is equal to gmm upon r square. We know this formula. Solution. Let the mass of a person be m kilogram. We consider a mass in kilogram. Therefore weight on the earth W is equal to what? 750 Newton. That is a given in the question. And therefore substitute the formula. What is the formula here? WE. W means that is that weight is on the earth. So GME mentioned G Me means mass of the earth multiplied by m. M means nothing but mass of a person upon radius on the earth, re square equal to 750. Therefore small m is equal to remaining term shift on the right hand side, equation number 1. And weight on the moon, again by using the formula, weight on the moon Wm equal to G. Mm means nothing but mass of a person on the moon into mass, small m means mass of the person upon radius of the moon square. So we know the value of this small m in the above formula. This value we substitute here, and after calculating capital G cancel here. 750, take the ratio of radius here and take the ratio of mass on moon and earth. This value we are knowing in above. Therefore substitute the value after calculation. See there, 750 multiplied by this ratio is 3.7 bracket square. Here me upon mm is given, that is a 81, but that is exactly opposite manner, so we are writing 1 upon 81. After calculation we are getting the answer 126.8 Newton. And then at the last writing the answer, the weight on the moon is nearly 1 upon 8 of the weight on the earth. So in this way we are writing the answer. See, this question is already solved in textbook, but you try to write in this pattern given to find formula and solution step by step. Now we are going back to the page number 10. Page number 10. Okay. Now do you know gravitational waves? Waves are created on the surface of water when we drop a stone into it. Similarly, you must have seen the waves generated on a string when both its ends are held in hand and it is shaken. Light is also a type of wave. That type of wave is called as underlying electromagnetic wave. Gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, infrared rays, microwave and radio wave are all different types of electromagnetic waves. Astronomical objects and these waves, and we receive them using our instruments. All our knowledge about the universe has been obtained through these waves. Gravitational waves are very different type of waves. They have been called waves on fabric of space-time. Einstein predicted their existence in 1916. These waves are very weak and it is very difficult to detect them. Scientists have constructed extremely sensitive instruments to detect these gravitational waves emitted by the astronomical sources. Among these, LIGO, what is the full form of LIGO? Underline. That is a laser interferometric gravitational waves observatory is the prominent one. Exactly after 100 years of their prediction, scientists detected these waves coming from the astronomical sources. Indian scientists have conducted significantly in this discovery. This discovery has opened a new path to obtain information about the universe. So this is the extra information given for us. Now next, page number 11. Now free fall. Now try this. Take a small stone, hold it in your hand. Which forces are acting on the stone? Now release the stone. What do you observe? What are the forces acting on the stone after you release it? So answer of this question I think given in this paragraph. Now see that. we know that the force of gravity due to the earth acts on each and every object. When we were holding the stone in our hand, the stone was experienced this force, but it was balanced by a force that we were applying on it in the opposite direction. As a result, the stone remained at rest. Once we release the stone from our hand, the only force that acts on it is the gravitational force of the earth, and the stone falls down under the influence. Whenever an object moves under the influence of the force of gravity only, it is said to be falling freely. That is called as a falling freely or free free fall. So you mark the answer from here like this, up to whenever up to free falling, or that is called as a free fall. Thus the released stone is in free fall. In a free fall, the initial velocity of the object is 0 and goes on increasing due to acceleration due to gravity of the earth. During free fall, the frictional force due to air opposes the motion of the object, and a buoyant force also acts on the object. Therefore, last line you underline. Therefore, true free fall is possible only in vacuum, because on the earth atmosphere is present, and that is not happen actually in true sense on the earth. So where that last line you underline, true free fall is possible only in vacuum. For a freely falling object, the velocity on reaching the object and the time taken for it can be calculated by using Newton's equation of motion. For free fall, the initial velocity u equal to 0, acceleration means considered as acceleration due to gravity. Thus we can write the equations as, so initial velocity u is 0, so value of u we substitute 0 in Newton's three equations. So we are getting first equation v equal to u plus at, so a means nothing but g, so we are writing gt, u is 0 here. Second, s is equal to ut, but u value is 0, so 0 into t means 0, only half at square, a is replaced by a g, that is a gt, half gt square. Third equation is v square equal to u square, but u value is 0, 0 square is 0, plus 2as, but a is replaced by g, so 2gs. In this way, we are replacing these equations like this. For calculating the motion of an object thrown upward, acceleration is negative, because on x and y axis we know that acceleration due to gravity always in downward direction. The downward direction considered as a negative on y axis, that is in direction opposite to the velocity. Object is moving upward, but acceleration due to gravity in downward, that's why we consider as a negative sign, and it is taken to be minus g. All are getting? Next, magnitude of small g is the same, but the velocity of the object decreases because of this negative acceleration. When we throwing any object in upward direction, due to this acceleration due to gravity, velocity of that object decreases when the object moving in upward direction. The moon and the artificial satellites are moving only under the influence of the gravitational field of the earth. Thus, they are in free fall. Only gravitational force exert on any object, and that object is moving around some objects. So naturally, these moon and artificial satellite are freely revolving around the earth or the moons of the other planets around that planets because of the gravitational field of that planet only. That's why truly we say that yes, that objects like artificial satellite and moon are in free fall. Do you know? The value of a small g is the same for all objects at a given place on the earth. Thus, any two objects, irrespective of their masses or any other properties, when dropped from the same height and falling freely, will reach the earth at the same time. Galileo is said to have performed an experiment around 1590 in the Italian city of Pisa, Asia. He dropped two spheres of a different masses from the leaning tower. Different spheres having different masses from leaning tower of the Pisa to demonstrate that both the sphere reach the ground at the same time. Masses are different but reach to the ground in the same time. When we drop a feather and a heavy stone at same time from the height, they do not reach the earth at the same time. The feather experiences a beyond force because that is light in weight and a frictional force due to air. Therefore, floats and reach the ground slowly later than the heavy stone. The beyond and frictional force on the stone are much less than the weight of the stone and does not affect the speed of the stone much. Recently, scientists performed this experiment in a vacuum and showed that the feather and the stone indeed reach the earth at the same time. One site is given, so you check that experiment uh, on this site. By using this site, you confirm how that happened. Next page. Now some numerical problems are given here, so you try to write these numerical problems in the form of that pattern given to find formula and solutions. So how many questions are here? Two solved questions and one more question given here. Use your brain power. This is the third numerical question given here. Check that. I will show the answer, how to write these answers. See here, first one. This is the first numerical problem solved on page number 12 in our textbook. So question is already given. So you read that question and we find out the three different things in this question. First of all, you write down the all given terms. Mass is given, distance is given, initial velocity and acceleration by using their respective symbols. What we find out? Three different things we find out. Time we find out, final velocity v, and when time is a half, then find out the height. That height means nothing but the vertical displacement, that we find out the s. So by using the formula, first one, how to find out this time? By using the formula s is equal to ut plus half at square, that is the second kinematic equation, say Newton's second equation of motion. Then second one, final velocity, we find out the by using the first equation of motion. And again third, when we find out the height, then again use the same formula, that is the second kinematic equation. Then one by one we are using these equations. So by using the Newton's second equation of motion, we are writing that equation, substitute the value, and 0 into t is 0, then 5t square on the right hand side, 1 za 2 1 za 2 1 za 2 2 5 za, so 5t square. 5 is dividing on the left hand side, so we are getting 25. Take the square root, so we are getting the answer only 5 seconds. So the ball takes only 5 seconds to reach the ground. Okay, next, second point. According to Newton's first equation of motion, v is equal to u plus 80. U value is 0. Substitute the value and we are getting simply v equal to 50 meter per second. The velocity of the ball on reaching the ground is 50 meter per second. Meter per second is SI unit of velocity. Next, third point. When time is a half, then what happened? Time is given 5 seconds. So 5 divided by 2, that is 2.5 seconds. So according to Newton's second equation of motion, again substitute the value 0 into t, that is a 0. Then 1 upon 2 multiplied by 10, here 2.5 square. So 2 ones are 2 5s are, so 5 into 6, 2.5 square is 6.25. Do the multiplication, we are getting the answer 31.25 meter. So in this way you find out the answer and write in proper manner. The height of the ball at half time, so 125 minus 31.25, so we are getting the answer 93.75 meter. Check in your textbook also. Second numerical problem given about the tennis ball. So read the question carefully and write down the given terms. First of all, upward motion of the ball. So final velocity of the ball v is 0. Distance traveled by the ball in upward direction s equal to 4.05 meter. Acceleration a equal to minus g, that is minus 10 meter per second square, because direction of acceleration due to gravity is in downward direction. Now to find out initial velocity and time. So we are using two formula. Third equation of motion derived by scientist Newton, v square equal to u square plus 2s, and again second equation use s equal to ut plus half ut square. By using these two equations we find out the answer. Now see that. So using Newton's third equation of motion, we are writing that and substitute the value. After calculation we are getting the value u square equal to 81. Take the square root, that is a u equal to 9 meter per second. U means nothing but initial velocity of the ball, that is 9 meter per second. Second value. Now consider the downward motion of the ball. Now downward motion of the ball. In first case upward motion of the ball. Now here downward motion of the ball. Initial velocity u is 0. Distance traveled by the ball on reaching the ground, that is the same, reaches 4.05 meter. Velocity and acceleration are in the same direction, that is downward direction, and that's why velocity and acceleration due to gravity is in the same downward direction. That's why we are not taking minus sign here. G equal to, that is 10 meter per second. So accelerate according to Newton's second equation of motion, that we write and substitute the value. Now 0 into t is 0. Then here 10 divided by 5, that is 10 divided by 2 means 5. T square 5 shifting on that side. 0.81. Take the square root. So time we are getting 0.9 second. Therefore, the ball will take 0.9 second to reach the ground. It will take the same time to go up, and therefore total time taken, that is 2 multiplied by 0.9, that is the 1.8 second. So in this way you try to write down the answer. One more question given for us, that is on the same page. Now see that. Use your brain power. According to Newton's law of gravitation, Earth's gravitational force is higher on an object of larger mass. Why doesn't that object fall down with a higher velocity as compared to an object with lower mass? Answer. First point. The acceleration produced in a body under the influence of the force of gravity alone, that is the only, is called as acceleration due to gravity. It is given by, we know the formula, G equal to gm upon r square. The value of small g depends upon mass and radius of the earth. Now planet, in bracket, planet due to which there is a gravitational pull. Third point. It is independent of the shape, size, mass, etc. of the body which is falling. Hence, the object with a greater mass and the object with a comparatively less mass both will fall with the same velocity. This is the answer of that given question on the page number 12. Next point is given. See on page number 13. Page number 13. Gravitational potential energy. So here only simple one question is asked. Define potential energy. We know the answer actually, that we learned in previous standard. We have studied potential energy in last standard. So mark the answer. The energy stored in an object because of its motion, position or state is called as potential energy. This energy is relative and increase as we go to greater height from the surface of the earth. Height is increases, potential energy also increases. We had assumed that the potential energy of an object of mass m at a height h from the ground is mgh. We know the formula of potential energy. Potential energy is equal to what? Mgh. M means mass of an object, g means acceleration due to gravity, and h means nothing but the height from the ground. On the ground is 0. So potential energy on the ground is 0. Remember, when it is a small compared to the radius r of the earth, we can assume small g to be constant, and can use the above formula mgh. But the large values of h means height, the value of g decreases, that we learn in previous points. So if we go up or down from the earth's surface, that value of g decreases. Remember this point. With increase in height increases, value of g decreases. For an object at an infinite distance from the earth, the value of g is 0 and earth's gravitational force does not act on the object. So it is more appropriate to assume the value of potential energy to be 0 there. So no potential energy. Thus, for smaller distances, or that is the height, the potential energy is less than 0, that is the negative. When an object is at height h from the surface of the earth, potential energy is, that is a minus gmm upon r plus h. Here capital M and R means nothing but m means mass of the earth and capital R means radius of the earth. Last point of this lesson, that is escape velocity. Question is asked, define escape velocity and what is its value. We have seen that when a ball is thrown upward, its velocity decreases because of the gravitation of the earth. The velocity becomes 0 after reaching a certain height, and after that the stone starts falling down. Its maximum height depends on initial velocity. Its maximum height depends on its initial velocity. According to Newton's third equation of motion, v square equal to u square plus 2as. Now v means what? Final velocity of the ball, that is the 0, because that ball reaches up to certain height and again start to fall down. So at this place, what happened? Final velocity v is equal to 0. And a is equal to what? A means acceleration. So acceleration in opposite manner, that is the minus g. G is in downward direction, so it is move in upward direction, so consider as a minus g. Therefore substitute this value. Therefore 0 equal to u square plus 2 into minus g into s. So maximum height of the ball, that is s, is equal to, we are getting the formula, minus u square upon 2g. Thus, higher the initial velocity u, larger is the height of reached by that ball. The reason for this is that higher the initial velocity, the ball will opposes the gravity of the earth more, and larger will be the height to which it can reach. We have seen above that the value of a small g keeps decreasing as we go higher above the surface of the earth. Thus, force pulling the ball downward decreases as the ball goes up. If we keep increasing initial velocity of the ball, it will reach larger and larger height, and above a particular value, the initial velocity of the ball is able to overcome the downward pull by the earth and can escape the earth forever, will not fall back on the earth. This velocity is called as the escape velocity. So we can determine its value using the law of conservation of energy. So you mark the definition of escape velocity, make the bracket or you make underline from here. Start from if up to the, it's called escape velocity. After an object going vertically upward from the surface of the earth, having an initial velocity equal to the escape velocity, escapes the gravitational force of the earth. The force of gravity being inversely proportional to the square of the distance becomes zero only at infinite distance from the earth. This means that the object to be free from the gravity of the earth, no any effect of gravity of the earth on that object, it has to reach infinite distance from the earth, that is the object will come to rest at infinite distance and will stay there only. For an object of mass m on the earth's surface and at infinite distance from the earth, kinetic energy is half mv square, potential energy minus gmm upon r. Total energy means kinetic plus potential energy. So we are making the addition of these two energies. At infinite distance from the earth, kinetic energy is what? Because that object remains constant at that place. So kinetic energy is 0. Potential energy, that is minus gmm upon r, means nothing but the distance from the center of the earth up to infinite distance. So any value divided by infinite, answer is 0, and therefore total energy means kinetic plus potential energy, we are getting the answer 0. So these two values are here, object of mass m, so on the earth's surface and at infinite distance, that total energy is what at both the places. From the principle of conservation of energy, E1 is equal to E2. Energy is converted from one form to another, so that it remains same, only form is changed. Therefore we are substituting these two values. So half mv infinite square minus gmm upon r equal to 0. So only we are keeping that v escape square, this 2 is divided, shifting on right hand side, then multiplied, and on both the side m is present, cancel. So we are getting v square equal to this step. So we are taking the square root. So v escape in square root 2 gm upon r, but then we are getting the answer in next step is your upon r square. So root of gm upon r square means nothing but small g. but r square is not there, so dividing and multiplying by r, so that value is a g and this r is remains, so 2gr in square root. Substitute the value, we are getting an answer. So v escape, that is escape velocity produced in an object. So this velocity is required when object is permanently released from the earth's gravitational field, that is 11.2 kilometer per second. Now see the explanation. The spacecraft will which are sent to the moon or other planet have to have their initial velocity larger than the escape velocity, that is 11.2 kilometer per second, so that they can overcome Earth's gravitational attraction and can travel to these objects. Again, one numerical problem is given here, so try to write the question and answer you write in that form given to find formula and solution, and do the little bit calculation about these given values. Try to find out how this answer obtained in this question. So do you know weightlessness in space? Now space traveler as well as objects in the air spacecraft appear to be floating. I think most of the students observing the spacecraft's movies, so there that astronauts or some other objects are easily floating like a balloon. Why does this happen? Check there. Though the spacecraft is at a height from the surface of the earth, the value of small g there is not 0. In the space station, the value of small g is only 11% less than its value on the surface of the earth. Thus, the height of the spacecraft is not the reason for their weightlessness. Height is not a reason for their weightlessness. Their weightlessness is caused by their being in the state of the free fall. Underline this sentence. Though the spacecraft is not falling on the earth because of its velocity along the orbit, and only the force acting on it is the gravitational force of the earth, and therefore it is in a free fall. As the velocity of the free fall does not depend on the properties of an object, the velocity of a free fall is the same for spacecraft, the travelers, and the object in the craft. Thus, if the traveler releases an object from the hand, it will remain stationary with respect to her and will appear to be weightless. So in this way, in this lesson number 1, we learn the gravitation concept in a detail. So I will give some questions in our assignment, so you try to write down the answers. I will give afterward solution of the questions given in this assignment of lesson number 1. Thanks.